All right, everyone. So before we get started today, my name is Megan. I am from Craftsmith, and we are going to be doing this craft together. You have the option to craft along with me, but I might be a little bit speedy. So if you can't keep up with me, this video will go on Michael's YouTube in about 24 to 48 hours. So you can always go back and review things there. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. If I see them, I'll of course answer them, or my coworker Emily is in the chat. She can answer your questions as well. We do have some hashtags today. If you make this project and want to post it on social media, it will be on my desktop, so you'll be able to see that as we're crafting. But we would love it if you would tag us at Craftsmith.co if on Instagram or Facebook. And of course, Michael's as well. Their hashtags are Make It With Michael's and Michael's Classes. So back to school is upon us. And of course, if you have kids or if you're a teacher, you're either already back to school or you're going back very soon. So that's just what we wanted to theme the class around today. In fact, everything you see behind me is a back to school product we currently have in Michael's stores. We've got a bunch of cool storage boxes. If you have a classroom that needs some storage, whether you are a parent sending your kid back to school or you're a teacher that wants to set up a cool back to school area in your classroom, we've got photo backdrops and banners and all kinds of cool stuff. If you have seen, you obviously have seen the class sign up page for this. So you have seen the photo of what we're making today. I don't have it behind me because, as you might imagine, it's a little bit big. The actual photo prop I made was 18 by 24. We're going to make one a little bit smaller today just so it fits on my tabletop. But you can make it at any dimensions you want. If you're making it for older kids, or if you want several kids to, go behind the backdrop at once, you're probably going to want it to be bigger. If you're making it for little kids, you can shrink it down so they can really easily hold it themselves. So if we are ready, we can go ahead and switch to this view so I can show you the products we're going to use today. So the main paper pad we're going to use today is this ink splatter paper pad, which is just a really cool, vibrant paper pad. It's a really great basic with a little bit of extra pizzazz. So I highly recommend this paper pad. I used a little bit from this paper pad, which is a specialty black paper pad, which is also in Michael's stores. I think we've used this one a bit, so it's missing a little bit. But you can see it's just got all kinds of textures and it's themed around black. So we're going to set this one to the side at the moment. This one as well. The first thing I'm going to show you is, like I said, we need to make our actual frame. Ooh, I'm going to flip it that way so you can see it. I'm making mine out of corrugated cardboard. I recommend, if you have access to it, go ahead and make yours out of foam core. You can buy sheets of that at Michael's. And it'll just be a little bit sturdier than the corrugated. I had to double up on my corrugated because, as you can imagine, if you picked up a big box of crayons, crayons are a little bit heavy. So I doubled up on my corrugated. I'll show you that, so that it had a little bit more structure to it and wouldn't bend under the weight of the crayons. Foam core will have just a little bit more sturdiness to it. But for the purpose of class, we're going to use this. I'm going to turn it sideways so that you can see it on camera. This is one reason I shrunk my project down today, is I wanted you to be able to see it as I worked on it. This is 16 by 20. So my long side is 20 inches, the shorter side is 16. If I had the 18 by 24 that I made for the original class, it would be so big that you wouldn't be able to see it on my camera. So if you want to make the 18 by 24, please do. You're just going to scale everything that I'm making up a little bit. The only dimensions that I'm changing will be the length of a couple of pieces, and I'll tell you that as we go along. But this is a super simple thing. I want 2-inch sides on everything. So we are going to do the very trick you learned probably in elementary school and just measure it out. I'm going to show you how I did it. I'm not going to cut it today because through the magic of TV, I have already cut mine. But I'm going to show you how I did it and got it even. So I just go along and make several marks 2 inches long. I'm using an 18-inch ruler so that it almost covers my my frame. If you have access to a yardstick, that will definitely be the correct length that you need. So you're going to connect your dots. And it's okay if you don't get this exactly even, because our crayons are going to help us there. I don't know if you can super see my line, but it's there, I promise. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing over here. Mark 2 inches in several places so that we can connect our dots. And again, if this is something you want to do later, you don't have to craft along with me today. These steps I'm going to teach you are pretty simple. You can definitely do this again without me and do it at your own pace. And like I said, you will have the video to refer to. So if you can see, I've got my 2-inch wide line on each side. And now we're going to measure it over here. 2 inches, just the same. And of course, if you get really stuck on something, like I said, if you're crafting now, drop it in the chat. I can answer the question. If you have any questions that come up later this week when you're making this without me, you can always reach out to us on social media. We are at Craftsmith Co. on Instagram. And if you have like a burning question about something we used or something I did that doesn't make sense to you, drop it in there and I can always answer your question on Instagram with my coworker Emily. So, but I think that all of you are going to excel at this and be able, this camera keeps going out of focus. I'm sorry about that, guys. It should pop back in just a second. I hope. All right. Let's see, putting something down makes it focus again. There we go. Let's keep this to the side so it has something to focus on. Okay. So if you can tell, I've got my border here, 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 and here. So you actually do have a very nice frame. So what you're going to do if you have an X-acto knife, I don't have one with me because I'm not going to show you everything. I'm just going to pretend and use scissors. Pretend this is an X-acto knife. Do not copy my technique. You're going to cut along this line. Make sure you stop in the corner. And then cut from here to your corner here, all the way down. Do that on all 4 sides. And again, through the magic of television, ta-da, I have that done already. So you just want to make sure that you have your center popped out, but you've got 2 inches on each side. And like I said, I used corrugated cardboard sheets rather than foam core because it's what I had on hand. So I doubled that up. So this is actually 2 sheets that I hot glued together. So you can see mine is white on both sides because my corrugated just happened to be white on one side. So that is literally what you're going to start with. And then the one thing for this project that you will need an absolute ton of is crayons. So I bought a box of hundreds of crayons for this, and we are going to use an absolute ton of them. So this part will get slightly repetitive, my guess. I'm going to try to zip through it a little bit so it's not boring. You can use whatever colors you want if you want to theme this, or if you just want to you know, make it a rainbow, go for that too. Sorry, I have to free my cord for my hot glue gun. Give me just a second. There we go. Sorry about that, you guys. I didn't realize my hot glue gun was in an area where the cord wouldn't reach me. Okay. So I actually want to start, this will normally be my top. I am going to just go ahead and put a little stripe of hot glue down. We don't want to do too awful much because then we're going to, it's going to dry before we can get to it. But see how I'm letting it hang off the edge a little bit at the bottom? We do want to do that. Just because if we line it all, try to line it up with the edge, we're not going to get to hide our cut line here, and not all of our cut lines will be perfect. So we do want to hide them. And literally you're just going to get the hot glue or the crayons down in there before the glue dries. If it starts to dry, that's okay. Just add a little bit more. I'm literally just making a pattern from the way the colors are in my box. My glue dried, I need a little bit more. If I have 8 colors, so that's literally the kind of pattern that I'm doing. I'm not being too perfect about lining these up super straight. You can see they're a little bit jagged, but that's okay. If you want to, you can always put something like this guy down. If you really want to be perfect about it. And oops, that will help you line up these in order or in a straight line. There. It's testing my hot glue there. Don't test your hot glue right away if you're using a high heat hot glue gun, because then you will burn yourself. This is probably the only section, or using hot glue in general is the only section of this class that you may have to be cautious with if you're getting help from little ones to lay these down, because you don't want anyone to burn themselves. And of course, X-acto knives should be adults or older children only, like teenagers, because those things hurt. You can zip through this however speedily or slowly that you want to. I am going fast just so you don't have to watch me for 45 minutes lay down crayons. But I also, my last one that I made, I tried to be really, really perfect with how I laid down the line of my crayons. Oh, that one didn't have a top. Oh well, it's gonna go anyway. And I wanted to see this time, like, what it looked like to be a little bit more uneven. Just because I think that's also kind of a cute look where it's kind of wavy and just a little bit less perfect. Because I put too much pressure on myself to be perfect. And I wanted to see what that would look like because I think that's cute. All right, when you get to the corner, you can go further if you want to. I chose to just keep my, well, currently they're my horizontal crayons within this gap here, and then I'll change direction and do this way, which I actually just realized I think I went too far. So I'm gonna peel up, I'll show you what I mean in a second. I'm gonna peel up that crayon, and I'm gonna peel up this crayon so that I have a gap there and there, because I forgot that I will need to turn these this way and start going here. So I need just that little bit of space right here. I might go one more. Let's try it. There we go, so that I can get these lined up like that instead of like that on my frame. So I'm actually gonna do that. I'm gonna peel up one on each side. Let's drop these back in the box. Okay, so if I used orange here, my next frame will be green. Okay. I really do, like with all of the crafts that I make, I encourage you guys to make this your own, whether that be customizing what color crayons you use. Like say maybe you are a, you're a parent of girls who love purple. Well, see if you can find just 1.5 million purple crayons and make this all purple. Or if you, you know, the paper that we're going to use later, you can theme that how you want to do. I cut out little squares. You could do hearts, you could do circles. You could do, if you have those really cool paper punches, you could do shapes like butterflies, whatever you want to do to customize this so that it's more for your family or and children or your classroom. Like, please do that. I love to see when people kind of take the ideas we present and just remix them to make them their own. I mean, that is really the point of being creative, is making something your own that no one else has. So highly encourage that. You know, growing up, I don't remember any of my teachers taking like beginning of school photos unless it was going to go in like back to school night. Like maybe we were making a craft that was going to have our photo in it. Or my mom definitely never took our photo, just was not her thing. My dad was the photo guy, but he wasn't like first day of school photo. Wow, my red crayons are missing tops a lot. But we definitely enjoyed the Polaroid camera when my dad would bust that out. But it's so much easier now with camera phones. I genuinely may not have enough crayons to finish this. I thought I would, but we'll see. But yeah, I love seeing on social media now all my friends' kids and watching them go back to school, and my nephews. I don't know if my brother does back to school photos. I should make him. I'm an auntie who wants back to school photos. Y'all, if I run out of crayons, we'll figure this out. I don't think I'm going to, but since I've made more than one project with these crayons, it's a possibility. Wow, these don't want to stick. Okay. Sorry if I get quiet. I'm trying to like beat the hot glue to like being solid. So how many people religiously take first day of school and last day of school photos of their kiddos? I always love those. Like, especially if you can get them in like the right spot so you can see how much they grew. I have a friend who made their husband do it when he went back to college. And I just thought that was the best. He was standing in front of their door and he had the frame and it said, you know, or the little like marker board. And it said what his major was and what his favorite food was and what his favorite class was. It was pretty funny. I think she even made him carry a backpack and like an apple or something like that. So back to school photos are for any age. And I really, really hope we get to see some of the ones you take, guys, and put this on our social media. Because if you make this, we would love to share it again. Because everything back to school is cute. Does anyone know why apples are a tradition for back to school? Like, I know old school, you like gave your teacher an apple. These don't want to stick right here. I've never really understood why an apple of all things, unless it was just like apples were around and they were abundant. But I've always wondered that. Like, why is it a thing that we give teachers apples? I clearly am putting too much hot glue down at once because my crayons are not sticking. So I need to put a little bit less hot glue down at a time so that it does not dry before I get my crayons on. So gauge your hot glue. I think this is a high heat hot glue gun. If you're using a low heat hot glue gun, it does solidify quicker, but you are less likely to badly burn yourself. So it's a trade-off. Whereas a high heat hot glue gun, especially if you've had it on for a while, sometimes gets really hot. But especially depending on the material you're putting it on, it can stay nice and melty for a while. I want to say liquid, and that just feels wrong, even though it might be the right term. It just feels odd to call something this hot and this, dangerous, a liquid. All right, I think I'm gonna get partway through this side, guys. I don't know if I'm gonna get the whole way, but we's gonna try. Okay. If you have done an adorable, oops, I did 2 reds in a row. Oh, well, go with your mistakes, guys. Just let them be. If you've done anything else adorable for back to school, like that you've made, we'd love to see it. If you've used any of our products, any of our backdrops, any of our boxes, any of our banners, we'd love to see it. We'd love to see the creativity that all of you put into what you make, and using our products in ways that sometimes we've never considered before, because that's really what it's all about. And like, especially if your kids are involved, I think kids have just the best creative ideas sometimes, because they look at the world and they don't yet see it the way we do. So kids sometimes make the best stuff. And I love their stories behind why they make stuff, especially if they're a little kid. Like my nephews just used to draw pictures and have this whole elaborate world for what everything in it was. And I have no idea how they came up with it, but that's what makes it amazing. I'm very glad I shrunk this, guys, because we might get down to, like, as you can see, I'm almost out of crayons. This was something like 400, around 400 crayons, just FYI. My last sign, like I said, was 18 by 24. I did not count the number of crayons that took, but my guess was it took about half the box. So depending on how many of these you make, and what size you make, gauge how, if you haven't bought crayons yet, just gauge that accordingly. Like I said, my 18 by 24 design took about half the box. And then it looks like this 16 by 21 is going to use every single crayon that's left, which I'm somewhat surprised with. I mean, I don't tend to craft with a lot of crayons, but I've never really thought about how much crayons it takes to do something. And if you do buy a big box of crayons, there are so many projects you can do with crayons. I have an artist friend that exclusively paints using melted crayon and various acrylics, and her projects are just always the coolest. So I'm going to be just a few crayons short, guys. Please forgive me. Let's pretend this corner doesn't exist, but I literally have exhausted my box of crayons. So again, we'll just pretend that doesn't exist. So if I had to gauge, I would say a minimum of 200 crayons is what you need, getting rid of the spider webs and which crayon popped up. If a crayon pops up, clearly you just have to pop it back in again. All right, so we have got this made. I am going to flip it. I've got so much hot glue that it's pulling the hot glue gun. So I'm going to flip it this way. Yeah, this way, so that you guys can see 3 sides. So if you do want it to not look as jagged as this, when you're putting your crayons on, just use a ruler to butt things up. Ooh, that crayon moved. I do suggest maybe very gently tilting your sign when you get your crayons on there, so you can see if any crayons are going to pop off. Like if you just didn't quite get to it in time. So let's now go ahead and pull out our ink splatter pad. I'm going to try not to move this too much. So I'm very sorry. I think I just popped up another crayon. I did. I did not glue these the best, guys. I'm very sorry. Use more hot glue than I did. My first sign, still holding up like gangbusters. All right. So in general, we're going to use the blue sheet. All of those like ombre splatter sheets. So there's a blue. I'm double checking, I'm sorry, because I realized I used some that have some sparkle to them. So we're actually going to be using, you can use any sheets you want, but we're going to use this one, which is a blue ombre with a silver sparkle to it. And then we're going to use this one, which I'm going to go ahead and fill this one up, because we're actually going to be using this to create the headers on our sign. And this is just a reddish pink ombre sheet. So I'm going to hold that aside. But you're going to get a nice little tour of this paper pad as I look for the rest of the sheets I'm going to use. If you want to use like a pink instead, there is a pink version, or a more pink version. We are going to use not this sheet, because there is one right here that has the gradient or the ombre, and it's also got that lovely silver sheen to it that I love. There's solids in here too, if anyone wants solids. And we're going to use this sheet, the green ombre. But just since I'm this far in the pad, let's go ahead and show you the rest. There's also a cool green ombre sparkle, and a solid green is what ends the pad. So as you can see, this is a lot of like basics with kind of a little bit of a flair. So if you're looking for a cool like primary pad that isn't just, you know, solid colors, this is a great pad. All right. Do not do what I'm about to do. I'm going to use my paper cutter on top of this. All right. Our crayons are bigger than the border we made. They are about 3.5 inches long. Okay. So to make a border for our text, I'm going to cut this back down to our 2 inches, and I want to take advantage of the ombre. So if I cut this direction, going with the ombre, instead of this direction, I'm going to get to use this cool fade as part of my project. So let's cut some 2-inch strips, and you can use scissors and a ruler if you want to. If you have access to a paper cutter, it just makes this quick and easy. So I know I said 2-inch strips, but I'm going to start by cutting 4 inches. Set this aside. And then using subtraction, since we're doing a school project, now I'm going to cut 2 inches, and that gives me two 2-inch strips. Okay. Now, like I said, you are going to end up being able to use this ombre. So you can either have it meet in the middle like that, and see, then we get this nice fade going each direction with the pink, or you can do it the opposite and put the white in the middle and have the pink going that way. What you choose will depend on the color for your wording. I have some white wording, So if I put the white in the middle, my white text is not going to show up on top of it. So I want to make these meet. But as you can see, now that I'm not doing a 24-inch frame, this is way too big. So since this was 16 wide, I'm actually going to go ahead and cut these down again so that I'm not using the full length. Our pads are 12 by 12. So by putting these end to end, that gives me 24 inches. I don't need 24 inches right now. If you are using a paper cutter or good with scissors, you can put these together like I just did. I think I'm going to cut these down to, I want 16 inches across. So that means I need 8-inch strips. So I'm going to leave these together. Line it up to my 8-inch mark here and chop off some of that white. By making these shorter, I do get less of that ombre, but I've still got the ombre. Now line these up on the back. And it's okay if they're not perfect. They don't have to be perfect. You're making this by hand. All right, and I'm just taping these together using standard old Scotch tape because I want them to stay before I try to line that up there. And so you see, I'm just going to kind of center it, and that's going to create a nice background for my text. Again, if you're making, I'm making a 16 by 20 sign. If you're making the 18 by 24, you're going to go bigger. You know what, we're going to put the hot glue directly on 1/2 first, because it's just going to be easier to do half of this. And since I've got my fold in the middle, and let's line it up as close to centered as we can. I think that's pretty good. Now my other half that I didn't glue yet, we're going to fold up. Put some hot glue on. Smooth that right back down. I've got hot glue spider web going on right there. All right, so we've got that happening. And we need to do the same thing at the bottom. If you want to use a different color, you can. I'm going to use the same color. And again, ask you to forgive me for having run out of crayons in the bottom. I thought 400 crayons would be enough for 2 classes. It apparently was not. So cut your 2-inch strips. You'll need 2. And again, if you're doing the 18 by 24 frame, it should be fine to leave them full length. If you're doing 16 by 20, cut them down to 8 inches. Okay. My yellow crayon escaped again. Oop, right back in. If you really, really, really want to be perfectionistic, you can also unwrap your crayons. That was a step too far for me. I really just didn't want to take the time necessary to unwrap dozens and dozens of crayons. It might be a little bit less distracting for some people if you're don't have the wrapper on, because then you'll just have, you know, that plain bar of color. I mean, I kind of like how the wrapper looks to begin with, but also it's going to take so much time if you choose to unwrap all of those. So you can see I've actually got a blemish on my crayons here. I think those are probably ones that I peeled up off the hot glue when I realized I went too far. But look, it gets hidden. So if you do have any wrappers that end up kind of funky, you can hide them at the top or the bottom by doing the border like this. So just keep that in mind as you go. So we're going to lay this back down, put hot glue on half of it. And be careful when you flip that over so you don't get it on yourself. That looks pretty good to me. Press it down. Whew. The hot glue is you can feel the heat of the hot glue through the paper. Since I don't have a complete strip here, I'm actually going to put this right down just on my existing crayons and do that. Maybe I'll figure out something cute to cover up my little spot. We'll figure that out at the end. figure it out at the end. All right, but we have got our little border going on here. I'm gonna flip this sideways just so you guys can see the whole thing. Okay. The next thing that we're gonna do is cut our little square embellishment. If you don't want to do squares, you don't have to. I liked the way the squares looked. It just felt much more, I don't know, geometric and pleasing to me. I'm going to show you, I have a bunch of things that I also cut because at first I thought I wanted to make some kind of pattern out of circles. So if you want to do something like circles over here instead of squares, you can. It's also a look. I'm wondering if I can just like hide my edges. I might do that. Forgive me if it looks a little weird, but I'm going to hide my mistake by just popping in a cute little flourish over here. So let me find some colors to do that with, so that it stops distracting me on camera. Okay, but yeah, it's, so what I'm trying to say, if you want to do something else, please feel free to do something else. You don't have to do squares just because I did squares. You know what? We're just gonna do it. This may look a little weird, guys, but the white is distracting me. So I'm gonna cover up as much of it as I can. There we go. Like putting a Band-Aid on. I know it's not great, but it looks better than it did. All right. Okay. So we need to cut some squares. So you're going to take the colors that I showed you before, the blue sparkle, the green ombre, the yellow sparkle, and the pink. Same as this, and cut some squares. These, I believe, are actually going to be about 1.5 inches. So this is going to be, yeah, 1.5 inches. Again, if you have a paper cutter, super easy. If you do not have a paper cutter, it will just take a little more time. If you also have like a square punch, you can do that super quick. So you're just gonna go and cut out a ton of squares in all the colors that you want, or whatever shape you wish. Squares are easy if you've got scissors or a paper cutter, because you only have to do straight lines. I made mine ahead of time. So I'm going to show you again the colors that we're going to use. I am feeling very uncoordinated today. I'm very sorry, guys. So we've got our yellow with the sparkle. We've got our green ombre. This is the same color as this. So we're kind of reddish pink ombre. And our last color is the color I used for my patch. It's our blue sparkle ombre. Okay. If you want to use less colors, please feel free. If you want to use more, it's your project. Make it you. I debated for a little bit, putting like, I had a butterfly punch doing butterflies on here, but I personally found it too distracting. So that is why I went with a simple shape. Since this is a matte, it's, you know, an ombre, but it's not shiny at all. I'm going to go ahead and start with a shiny piece of paper up here. So if you want to plot this out ahead of time and lay it all down before you hot glue, please feel free. I have done this once already, so I do not need to do that. I know the pattern I want to do. And I'm going to keep it Sometimes I use my finger to kind of tell if things are even. And I would keep these about a crayon or a pinky width apart. Let's use this guy. You will have a lot of variation if you use the same sheets that I did in your like coloring. Like these are literally all my greens. See, this came from the same green sheet, but look how many variations in color there are. So, and same with all of these, you can see. So you can really have a lot of fun kind of plotting this out and using as many as possible. I wish I'd put that one on straighter, but I don't want to peel it off. All right. So do be patient as you put these on, unlike what I just was, because that one's going to bother me. My next color is green. I used a lighter green last time, so let's see if I can find a darker green. All right. Green pink. Let's find the darkest pink I have. I think that's this guy. Feels a little like playing cards because I'm shuffling through all of my little squares. And I'm going to go ahead and put something there. It should be the blue, since I've got dark blue there. Ooh, this one's like a cool, nice Cinderella blue. So we'll use that to further hide my little area that I screwed up on. Well, I didn't screw up, I just ran out of colors. Then I'm going to move that so we can see next. Since I started with yellow here, I could start with yellow again. I think I'm not gonna though. I think I'm actually gonna start with blue. And again, this is the coolest paper. I love anything with a foil or a glitter on our papers. I just think it always looks so cool. We make a few glitter pads that might be in Michael's stores right now. I'm not entirely sure which paper pads we have in stores, but our glitter pads, if you buy the ones made by us, they're always the best. The glitter stays in place. That's one way you can know it's ours, and doesn't shed all over you as you craft. But we've got quite a few pads also that have like either silver or gold foil accents. And the accents are what always like make it for me. Last Christmas, you can probably find it on Michael's YouTube. I did a Christmas craft where we made peppermint Christmas trees, like, or well, they were red and white. I call them peppermint. And the paper, I believe, was red and white with a silver accent, and it's still one of my favorites to this day. We will have more Christmas pads coming out the closer it gets to Christmas. We'll also have a bunch of Halloween paper pads with coordinating Halloween stickers, I believe. It's going to be some really cute holiday stuff. All right, so my next color, green, should be pink. I don't want to put pink next to pinks. I'm going to cheat. So I'm going to go ahead, should be green, pink, blue. We're just going to find a different shade of blue that I haven't used over here yet because I've got this really, really soft pale blue and the darker blue. So I'm going to go for one in the middle. I'm going to put that there because I think if I put the pink here, even if I went for like a super light pink, it's just going to look too matchy-matchy. And I personally don't like that. So I'm going to deviate from my pattern. I don't think most people will notice. And put the blue there. Okay. Just going to move these. All right. With your class or in the class files, there should have been, I believe, a PDF. And I will show it to you in just a second as soon as I get these out of the way. Okay. I'm going to turn these. It's best if you can, when you're moving this around, try to find the edges of your frame. Don't try to lift it by the crayons, because the crayons, no matter how well you glue them, they just can't take the same amount of pressure as the foam board or the cardboard can. Okay. So you should have gotten a PDF that looks like this. This is what I used in our Cricut to cut out our words. If you don't have a Cricut, you of course don't have to worry about that. You can cut these out by hand. If you're really great at lettering, you can just letter them yourself. But I wanted to use this that our artists designed. You can find more, if you do have a Cricut, you can find more SVGs like this on our website, which is craftsmithco.com. We have a whole store of SVGs and files you can download to use with your cutter, your Cricut, your Silhouette, whatever cutter you use. But we gave you a PDF so that you can make that or even print and cut by hand. So I chose to use the first day of and kindergarten. You're able to separate all of these and use whatever you want for whatever grade you need. If you need to, say, switch out for multiple grades, just make sure when you put the grade on your sign, tack it very lightly so that you can gently peel it up and be able to switch out your grades. Okay, so Emily was very kind to cut this out on our Cricut for me. For the top, I'm missing some pieces, I think. We're just gonna go with it, guys. We're just gonna go with it. I'll show you the one I made originally so you can see at the end. This I just made with plain white cardstock. This is the first day of school. That's plain white cardstock. Kindergarten is shiny silver. The shiny silver came from this paper pad. So again, this is just a really cool paper pad that has all kinds of textures. There's even like this gunmetal, I guess you'd call it, glitter in there, along with just silver. I think we've used most of the actual just straight bright silver from this pad. We have used this pad a lot. It is incredibly useful. I believe we've also got this in several other colors. So if you have one particular color that you absolutely love to craft with, we may have made a specialty pad that has it in all kinds of textures and finishes. So I highly recommend looking for those. All right, so let's start with our top. Pull this towards me. You need to remind, or I need to remind myself how to spell. I'm laying this down because I want to make sure when I glue my letters up here that I am mindful of how wide this piece is. So I'm just gonna lay it down there so I can see it. I know you can't see it super great, but ooh, you know what? I'm gonna use a scrap so that you can see it. That's just in place so that you guys can see what I'm doing. So I have centered this roughly in the center of here. I just moved it. And now I'm going to take my letters and start laying them down. Okay. I'm okay with them going a little bit off the frame. And since these came apart when we cut them, I'm going to put my F there. And then the next letter I'm going to lay down as my T, so that I've got my anchors, I've got my two ends. I apologize if these aren't perfectly level. Normally I would stand up over this, but I can't do it since I've got a camera up here. So I'm watching the screen as I place this. So I can't guarantee these are as perfectly straight as they were on my original sign. But yeah, I'm gonna lay down my two outside letters first so that I know how much space I have for my middle letters. My middle letters are, I am missing the little piece that goes in the middle. That's okay. You'll still be able to tell that this is an R. On my original sign, I didn't lose that. So you'll see what it looked like too. Tap it down. I think I'm doing this a little bit higher than I did on my original sign. That's okay. There we go. Nope, it just wants to fall forward. So I'm gonna glue down a foot. Be careful as you do this, because these are so fine. If you don't want to use hot glue, you can probably use Elmer's, but I've got my hot glue right here. So I'm using my hot glue. Okay, now I'm going to center that. You see what I'm doing is I just keep centering things. So I put these down and then I centered my R, and then I had these down so I can center my I between them. So you're just going to keep doing that until you get to the final letter, which in my case is the S. So I'm centering this between them. And I'm only dotting a few little tiny dots of glue in various areas around there. So I've got my first on there. And now we're going to lay that down right there. This one is a little bit easier to glue because there's more space. Let's put it there. You are going to get cobwebs from hot glue all over the place, mind you. Okay. Slide this up so you can see there. I lost my kindergarten for a second. Not gonna lie, I did kind of like kindergarten for this because it fills this space super nicely. But again, you have all of these grades to choose from, even college. I would love if anyone made this for their college students. That would make my day. And we're gonna do the same thing. I'm actually gonna start by just putting a couple of dots in the middle here on the G and the R so that I can flip this over and get it in place. And I think that's pretty straight. Now I'm going to go ahead and tack down the last two letters, putting some E and N. Ooh, got myself there. And again, if you're going to make, or if you want to be able to switch this out, then just use as little glue as possible. All right. And alternatively, especially if you're cutting these by hand, you could always take the pre off of school and just say school. But it's always more fun when it's specific. So let's go ahead and use the front facing camera. All right, so I'm gonna pick this up, guys. I cannot guarantee crayons won't fall off, but I'm gonna show you this one and the one I originally made. So just be patient with me. Since, whoop, I'm definitely losing a crayon. I'm gonna just slide it back in there. Nope, I lost two. But yes, so you can see this is 16 by 20. I'm an adult, I still fit in it. Let me show you my other one. So this is my 18 by 24. You can see I'm having to scoot all the way back for it to show up on camera. It is a nice big one. Trying to figure out how to grab it without doing anything. So it will fit probably multiple students, whatever you need, but this is the big one. You can see it fit more squares along the side. I was able to get a little bit more of the gradient in the sheets at top. So if you have the ability to do the big one, it might be the best, but this one is substantially heavier. So just keep that in mind when you make it. If you've got little tiny guys, they may not be able to hold this, or at least for very long. Whereas, you know, older kids can. All right, if you have any questions today, please go ahead and drop them in the chat real quick. But I totally hope you guys make this and customize it for you, whether you're a teacher making it for your class or you are a parent making it for your kiddos. Thank you for tuning in with us today. Please have fun. You know, I hope all your kids have a great back to school, and yeah, enjoy the school year, guys. Thank you.